The Aaron's 312 on Fox is brought to you by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. By Old Spice. By Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Bush Light. Bush, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Bush Series. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. 10 laps into this race, a 21-car pileup when Johnny Sauter cuts down a tire, tries to get down to the apron, and slides back up in front of traffic. Big crowd on hand. Pit road will be open. Now, several cars have been on pit road while closed for crash damage repair. And when some of these cars were making repairs and trying to get out, we're going to show you why pit road was closed.
Obviously, the pace car was coming, but man, that was almost a disaster on pit road.
All of our leaders are on pit road. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. No telling how much trash they've run through over there with their tires. Plus, this will get almost all those teams where they can make this race on one more stop.
And the leader of this race is going to be Jason Schuler. He's one of the few cars that stayed out.
Nemechek just checked his tires. He didn't change them.
But filled it up with fuel and made some chassis adjustments, just like they made some adjustments on Ron Hornaday. Steve Burns.
Larry Mack, a little bit of patchwork going on with the 5-car of Brian Vickers. The grill is pushed in just below where the headlamp would be and right above the valence. So they're going to attach some tape patches, if you will, to the 5-car. Also, Nemechek, as you said, checked his tires, filled up with gas. Let's go to Jeannie.
And I'm with Casey Kane, who told me that maybe he had the worst seat in the house. You saw the tire come up over the hood, yes?
Yeah, we were just going along. I think we were about 3 cars behind that, and the tire went over the top of my car, pieces of it, and you knew that was trouble. And right then, I think the 21 went a little bit sideways, and there were just cars everywhere. So it's too bad. We had a great starting spot and went backwards pretty quick. Had to get in line.
You're doing okay, though, more importantly, yes?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, to Speedway Illustrated's Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Jeannie. I'm with Casey Kane's car, or maybe I should say what's left of it. Look at this. This is the fuel cell here, and this is why they use special gas tanks called fuel cells in race cars. There's a bladder inside that. Not one single drop leaked despite the damage to that cell. How hard did he hit? This right rear tire is almost to the back of what would be the right front passenger seat. I mean, really push this thing in up front. The oil pump is into the radiator. I mean, this car is demolished. But the driver is okay, and that is the most important part of this story.
Thanks, Dick. All the drivers were required to go to the care center. All were looked at and released, with the exception of Randy McDonald, who's been transported to a local hospital just for observation and a more thorough checkover. Everyone else has been released.
My idea of a good day at Talladega is always if I could drive my car up in the truck.
Oh, you bet.
Because normally if you could, that was a good top 10 or 12 finish.
That was usually a good finish, yeah.
Folks, if you have any doubt of the skill and the stamina and the wherewithal needed to race at these speeds in these series, watch some of the and listen to some of these onboard replays of getting through the big one. Our coordinating producer, Richard Zion, says, Darrell, instead of crank it up, we've had crack it up.
I've woke up many a nights in a cold sweat dreaming about that right there.
100 laps to go in the Aaron's 312 at Talladega after a 21-car pileup. Let's have one more look at it before we go back to green. Watch the 21 car, Johnny Sauter, go down to the apron, and mayhem. Now, the last car in was way, way behind the wreck, and Randy McDonald just flew right in there.
Well, I think we have the mess cleaned up, and we are back green flag racing. Pretty much a single file restart because we're only 18 laps into it. Most of the cars still on the lead lap that's out there.
8 cars were ordered to start at the rear of the field for pitting too soon under that caution, including Chad Blunt and Kerry Earnhardt.
And the biggest challenge that all these cars that are trying to get back out there, Mike and Darrell, is making sure that they make their cars aerodynamically sound. You saw Randy LaJoy and them trying to get all the sheet metal, because what NASCAR says is you have to maintain a minimum speed of 57 seconds, which is a percentage of the fastest times in happy hour practice, and they only give you one shot to accomplish that.
Dick Berggren?
With Kevin Grubb, looks like they can get yours back in. What do you think?
I hope so. The Dr. Pepper Dodge and Express Dodge wasn't too bad. This is one of the times where you almost wish your car was a little bit slower, so we could have been riding around about 40 if they had time to slow down for it. But that's Talladega for you. You can have a good car and it'll all turn around for you. But it just wasn't our day. Hopefully we can get out there and get some points, because we had a pretty wrecked up Dodge right now.
Let me tell you the sad part of this story. Go down to that cardboard box on the ground. Victory lane only. That was what they had planned. It's not what they got. To Jeannie.
Well, Stanton Barrett, as a stunt guy, I would imagine you have learned to get out of some pretty tight situations, but what happened? It looked like you had escaped the big one.
Yeah, I pretty much did. I mean, I did spin out. Somebody got in the rear to me, and we were safely sitting there on the inside of the track with Autobahn Ford, and we got these back guys. I don't know if they're spotters or drivers. They don't pay attention, but there's no reason why they shouldn't slow down enough to avoid you, and they panic and hit you at a good speed, and totaled a really good race car, and we would have been back in this race. So I don't know what NASCAR can do, but it's a shame for our guys. It's a shame for the other drivers, and the biggest thing, it's unsafe. You can kill people here, and I guess people don't pay attention to that or take it for granted. And it's a bad day for the Autobahn guys and the Roush guys, but we'll be back and try to have some fun at the next race.
I'm glad you're okay. Matt?
Well, Jeannie, under that caution, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was describing all of the debris on the racetrack, so he and Kevin Manion decided to bring the car to pit road, not to change tires, just to kind of kick the tires, make sure he didn't run over something that cut down a tire, and they topped off the 8 car so he can go the distance on one more stop. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, Brian Vickers' crew, led by crew chief Lance McGrew, just did a great job repairing the nose to that number 5 car. They were on pit road twice. First for tape, the second time they fabricated a piece of sheet metal that they put just above the valence, about 24 to 28 inches across. Lance McGrew just telling Vickers he just ran his fastest lap of the day.
Vickers in 14th place as you ride along with him.
And I watched that crew work on that car. That must be a bunch of teenagers down there. That is the youngest bunch of crew members. Brian's only 19, and of course Ricky Hendrick, the car owner, is like 22, and a bunch of young guys down there. But they're doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. I like what they're doing, and I like what Rick's doing with his team.
A guy that has to feel very lucky, Shane Mill in that 48 car. Remember, he had to start this race at the rear of the field because of 2 engine changes this week. Made it through the big wreck, and here he is up there in 4th. And guys, he's had 2 good runs in a row, and he's sitting 7th in the points. This could be a good day for him.
And you'd think these guys would say, okay, all I got to do is, hang in here for a while, but they're out there racing like it's the last lap. It's the mentality of a race car driver. I've been told many a times I've had the driver's mentality. And if you want to know what that means, watch these guys right here who are going to have a good finish if they don't run over each other.
Shane Meal, who triggered the big one last year in this race, now running 5th as Michael Waltrip pulls alongside with a little help.
Darrell, we've been seeing this for the last couple of years here, especially at Talladega. The leader of the race, he hugs the bottom of the racetrack. If you're going to go by him, you have to do it on the outside. We saw that with Mike McLaughlin 2 years ago, and he won the race.
The guy that's leading the race right now, if you want to just look at the record book, the only name you see in it is the cat leading the race right now. He's got more wins, more top 5s, more poles. Joe Nemechek is definitely the man to beat here this weekend, but he's also got a cat right there behind him that has got a pretty good car too. Dale Jr. in that 8 car.
And that car with a special paint scheme for the Dale Earnhardt tribute concert that'll be held June 30th at Daytona International Speedway. June 28th. We're trying to draw attention to that with this paint scheme on Junior's car. There are, of course, die-cast collectibles of that car to be had as well.
I tell you, Chase Montgomery in that 27 car right there qualified 23rd. He dodged the big race. He's in 7th place. Won the ARCA race back at Daytona in February, so he kind of understands super speedway racing. And this is a teammate to David Green.
David, one of those involved in the big crash at lap 10.
This hasn't been a good weekend for David.
No.
He gets thrown out of the Cup race, and 10 laps into this race, he's crashed.
But unlike most of the cars, that green car, that is David Green. Unlike most of the cars involved in the big crash, he was able to continue.
The group of cars behind this group, led by Jamie McMurray in the 1 car, they need to get lined up because that's the only way they'll ever catch that pack in front of them. That's the way you run the quickest, is if everybody gets in a single file, Darrell.
Everybody looks like that they know that, and that's what they appear to be doing right now. But I think this first group right here is so much faster than maybe the rest of the cars are, because back in there are some cars that are damaged. These guys right here all got a lot of experience. They know to stay together, work together, put some distance between everyone else, settle it among themselves.
Jamie McMurray led a pack 9th place on back. We're up now with the leaders, Nemechek and Dale Jr. And here's that group, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
And I believe you're right, Darrell. The last lap that Joe Nemechek ran leading this pack was a 50.27. Jamie McMurray leading his pack was a 50.91, over a half a second slower than this group right here.
Like I said, if I'm going to get behind somebody, it's going to be that 87 car, Joe Nemechek, because he's got a fast car and he knows how to win here.
Cars continue to come back from the garage. Brad Baker 2 laps down, back in the race after being involved. NASCAR, as you heard one of the drivers indicate, they will give you one chance to get your damaged car repaired and back up to speed. You can't maintain that minimum speed, then you go to the garage for the day.
Yeah, and you got to fix the car pretty darn good, because as fast as you run here, parts will, I mean, if you just tape things on it, then you're going to get parts flying off of it, cause a caution, possibly even cause another accident by pieces flying all over the racetrack.
Michael Waltrip, 8th place. Chase Montgomery just ahead. Right behind McMurray, the middle car in that next pack. There's McMurray and Michael. How about an attaboy for former Daytona 500 champ Derek Koch in that 49, who's having his best outing of the season.
Another car that dodged the big wreck, qualified back in 39th position. So a lot of cars, it was like a lot of cars at the very back of the pack, they were able to get through that wreck.
Yeah, Shane Mill is a good example, because he started the back, as you said, and there he is running up there in the 4th spot. So certainly being at the back is never a bad thing. You got 2 times here you got to really worry. On the start and then after caution. Anytime the cars are kind of bunched up and they're running 4 or 5 wide like we saw them on the start here, that's when you got to worry. But normally the beginning and the end, that's when you have to be the most concerned.
Joe Nemechek has led most all the green flag laps today. Kerry Earnhardt, Jason Schuler, Brad Teague have each led a lap under caution in the Aaron's 312.